Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Mary and I give you an extra warm welcome. I would love it if you grabbed a snack, stayed for a while and clicked the subscribe button. I would love to have you. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you more than you know. So as you can tell by the title of the video, my Givenchy Prisme Libre Skin Caring Concealer is here. For some reason, I was confusing this with YSL. For some reason, I thought this was a YSL concealer that was released because they just recently, a couple of months ago, released a new foundation. So I thought, oh, okay, now they're releasing the concealer. But no, this is Givenchy and not YSL. Sorry, I just realized that I've been saying I love the new foundation that they came out with, even though I actually haven't even tried it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm a tired mama. Okay, so we are going to try this bad boy out today. I bought this, was it through Sephora? Yes, it was through Sephora. If you want to see if I enjoy this concealer, if it's any good, then just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, my lovelies, so this Givenchy Prisme Libre Skin Caring 24-Hour Hydrating Radiant Correcting Creamy Concealer, which is available in 24 different shades. It retails for $37. Okay, I picked up the shade N270. See what the description on that one is. So it's described as a light to medium with intense neutral undertones. So I'll share a picture here. Trend Mood actually got the whole range of shades and she swatched every single one of them on her forearm. So that's what I went by to pick my shade. I was in between N270 and N280, which N280 is described as a medium with neutral undertones. So I went with the N270 just to be on the safe side because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't too dark. Okay, so a revolutionary hydrating 24-hour wear concealer formulated with 95% natural origin ingredients that conceals, corrects, and cares for skin. It is a medium coverage. The finish is radiant. Okay, so this is what the component looks like. Is it glass? No, it's plastic. Even though it's plastic, I actually do like the aesthetics of it. I feel like you do get that high-end vibe from it. I don't know, what do you think? Okay, my lovelies, as you can tell, I have foundation on now, and I did go into this All Hours foundation from YSL. I've been confusing this with this new concealer that's been coming out. This is Givenchy, not YSL. So my apologies if when I've been posting about this concealer, I confused you. I apparently was confused myself. Okay, so we are going to do color corrector on one side. I'm going to jump into this Nude Sticks. This is actually a concealer, but the shade that I picked up, which is Nude 4, is very peachy, so I use it more as a color corrector than anything. Okay, let's see what this doe foot looks like. Okay. So there is the doe foot. I'm going to swatch it just to see what. So it looks like it's kind of a little bit on the peachy side. I did see on the description of this that it's actually a good concealer for dark circles, and I feel like this one has a little bit of a peachy undertone to it, so I do feel like it's actually going to do a good job just on its own, but we'll go ahead and try it anyways. So this is going to be the side with the color corrector, and here I'll swatch it underneath so you could see what I'm talking about. I feel like the Nude Sticks is a little bit more like orangey peachy versus peach. I feel like this one's really blending into my skin, and this one you can definitely see it's like a peachy shade. I'm going to put just the tiniest bit. I don't feel like I need a lot. This is a Sephora 57 brush, and I'm just going to blend out the color that I'm using as a color corrector before I go in to the Givenchy concealer. And as you can see, that already did something. Okay, so let's go into the Givenchy. It smells like makeup, no scent to it. There's a lot of product on there, so I'm just going to carefully dot it because I don't want to put too much. Sephora 57 brush. Let's start down here. This brush is a little bit more dense, and that's why I'm doing pressing down motions, because I don't want to drag too much of the product and I actually feel like I used too much. Okay, so personally, I feel like it looks just the tiniest bit cakey, but I feel like I used maybe a tiny bit more than I would have liked, but it looks okay. It doesn't look drying. I don't feel like it does. I blended out decently. I think I'm gonna end up liking this side better. Did forget to mention, this only has a 6-month shelf life and it was made in Francia. So I think because of the natural origin ingredients, this is probably going to expire a lot quicker than like your average concealers. So keep that in mind when you're actually purchasing this product. I feel like I get what clean brands are trying to do, but their products expire so quick. And say 10-15 years ago, it would make sense because people weren't buying as much makeup as they're buying now. But a lot of people's collections are pretty huge these days, and having a concealer that only lasts 6 months is just like, makes no sense, you know? Okay, so now we're going to, go into the side that has no corrector. Okay, let's start with that and see how it goes. I'm using a Vive 119 Conceal and Prime brush. This one's more fluffy, so this one I'll definitely swipe. I'm glad I went with this shade and not N280. I feel like N280 would have been way too dark. Yeah, I'm already liking this side a lot better. But I think I used too much product on this one, especially since I already had that Nude Sticks shade for correcting. I just don't color correct. I feel like most concealers don't lay on top that great. I use such little amount of concealer that it just doesn't make sense. Can you tell a difference in the coverage? I don't know. You tell me. Let me put just a tiny bit more on the side without the color corrector right there and just see. If you ever want the coverage to be a little bit more full coverage or just better, just wait a couple of seconds for it to dry down, and that helps. And I'm doing tapping motions so that I don't take away what I just applied. Okay, I don't feel like I could see much of a difference between the side where I used the Nude Sticks and then the side where I didn't use like a color corrector. Okay, I'm now going to set this side and I'm going to use my Makeup Forever HD Loose Press Powder Puff. Let me just go ahead and make sure there are no creasing lines. I did put some setting spray on my brush to set my under eyes with that before the powder. Okay, that looks good. Doesn't look drying. I just feel it looks a little cakey. I think it's one, user error. I applied a tiny bit too much, and two, there's layers because I put that color corrector. So just too much product under my eye for my personal liking, but it looks decent. All right, now I'm going to set this eye, and already sprayed my brush with some MAC Fix Plus so I can set it. Now I'm going to use the puff. Okay, yeah, this side is looking so much better for my personal taste. Yeah, this one, it just looks too heavy. Okay, so here is a close-up of the eyes. This is the one with the color corrector, and this is the one without. I personally enjoy this side more than this side. I feel like this just looks a tiny bit heavy for my personal taste. And I know on this side, like the coverage is a little bit less. Like right in here, those lines are very prominent, and honestly, there's not really much I can do about it. I could probably do all the color correcting in the world, but it's probably still going to show up just a tiny bit. And I'd rather my under eyes look more natural and not look heavy, because I feel when I add way too much product, they just look heavy and I don't like it. I prefer this where it looks natural and my under eyes look not as bad as they normally do without any concealer versus when it looks just heavy, you know? But here it is. I'm going to finish up the face and come back. I will be doing a wear test. I finished applying the concealer around 12:30, so I'll be doing a wear test. I'm probably going to film my outro ahead of time, and the check-ins are going to be on my iPhone. So far, I'm not 100% impressed with this concealer. I, of course, will have to keep on using it. I like to use any new complexion products for at least 2 weeks so I can really use it and see how I feel about it, because first impressions is exactly that, first impressions, and my mind can always change. I mean, this is a pretty big component. There's what, 0.37 ounces in here. I don't think this should have made it this big, but $37 for a big component like this, I think, is a decent price, especially since Givenchy is like a luxury brand. Okay, so I'll be back, show you the full face, show you what the under eyes look like in front of natural lighting, and yeah. Okay, my lovelies, I'm in front of natural lighting, and I wanted to show you what the under eyes look like. So this is the side with the color corrector, and this is the side without. I feel like for whatever reason, the side without color corrector is kind of showing like it has more coverage. I don't know, you tell me. I'm not 100% impressed with this formula, and it could be just because I recently tried the Tom Ford Stick Concealer, which is amazing, and the Glossier Pot Concealer, which is also really good. They just literally sink into your skin, and this one's not doing that. This one's not just sinking into my under eyes. Yeah, so far, first impressions, it's not impressing me. We'll see how it does, like wear test wise. So far, no creasing. I don't feel like above normal creasing, and I feel like the under eyes look decent. Okay, so yeah, here it is. So we'll see how it wears. All right, I'll hand you over to check-in Mary for the wear test. Okay, my lovelies, it is 5:30 in the afternoon. This is what my under eyes look like. I just looked in the mirror, and I feel like they look just the tiniest bit dry. I didn't even put that much setting powder to set them. So it's supposed to be a hydrating product, but for me right now, it's just not. So other than that, I think it looks pretty good, right? Yeah. Okay, so 5 hours in. Gosh, my lips are a mess. We'll see how they look by the end of the night. Okay, my lovelies, it is 9:06 at night. And here's what the under eyes are looking like. Creasing is pretty much at a minimal. They actually look really good as far as creasing goes. I still feel like they look just the tiniest bit dry. Not a lot, not drastic, just a little bit dry. Like, I feel like I look at my under eyes and I think they need just a tiny bit of moisture. I'm not impressed with this concealer. It's supposed to be hydrating and it's not hydrating on me. I would definitely say the coverage is probably like light medium to medium. I don't know about full coverage because I didn't build it up to full coverage, and I feel like if you did, it would look cakey, because even though the formula is weightless and you can barely feel it, I feel like the formula is a little bit on the heavier side. Like, this is not a concealer I would wear every day. This is a concealer that I would pull out for special occasions. As wear test goes, I think it performed really well. It's not my absolute favorite. If I had to compare it between the Tom Ford Soft Matte Stick Concealer that I just tried out and the Glossier, I definitely prefer those over this one. So I don't think it's a concealer you need to go out and buy. I definitely want to try it as like a foundation. So like concealer as a foundation and see how that goes. But yeah, that concludes this wear test. Our household got hit with a cold. Hopefully I don't go down for a couple of days. It started with the kids. It started I think 2 or 3 days ago, and then my husband and I got hit today. So send your good vibes over here that we all feel better and I'm not down for days at a time. Luckily, I did pre-film a good amount of videos, so if I'm not in the mood for filming, I have backups. Okay, well, that's going to conclude this wear test for this new Givenchy concealer. I'll go ahead and hand you over to outro Mary. Okay, my lovelies. Well, I hope this video is helpful in case you weren't sure you were going to pick up this new Givenchy Prisme Libre Skin Caring Concealer. You know how the wear test went, but first impressions, I'm not impressed. I definitely think there is better out there. I feel like if you are somebody who enjoys maybe like a more full coverage or a more makeup kind of makeup, then you might actually enjoy this. But for me personally, it's going to be one of those concealers that I probably pull out for special occasions when I maybe want to wear a tiny bit more makeup. But every day, probably not a good one for me. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. You have no idea. All the comments, all the likes, if you purchase through my links, it all really does mean so much to me. With that being said, I would love it if you gave this video a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it, and you would definitely help me out in the algorithm of hopefully bringing some new fresh eyes to my channel. And if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you joined my small YouTube family by clicking the subscribe button. I would love to have you. Okay, my lovelies, I will see you on the next video. Bye!